Okay, we're on the afternoon break of day 26 of the Undercover Policing Inquiry. We've been listening to the questioning of Steve Hedley, who was an activist involved in the Colin Roach Centre, Anti-Fascist Action, the Independent Working Class Association, No Platform. He was someone who was targeted by two undercover police officers, Mark Jenner and Carlo SOracchi. I'm joined by Dan Gilman from Give Evidence last week. Was it last week?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. What have you made of what we've heard from Steve Hedley this afternoon?
I think Steve made a really good point, as Steve does. This is question after question about Steve. What does Steve do? What are Steve's political beliefs? Was Steve violent? I mean, we've rarely had one question so far about Mark Jenner or about Carlo. I think Steve made that point. You feel very much as if you're the person under interrogation. You're being investigated.
Yeah, I mean, the whole approach of the inquiry is. It always frustrates me that there seems to have been very little research into what was happening contemporaneously. It's not like, oh, these things happened, we've looked them up, yes, this is true, this is not true. They go, well, it says in these reports that it was this. And like, well, what do you say to that?
And these are reports, again, as Steve said today, reports written by people that quite clearly are untrustworthy and make things up. You know, if they can sustain a marriage and a full-time relationship for 5 years, they are very good at lying. So it's no surprise that time and time again, you can just expose the lies that are in their documents.
Yeah, I think Steve's been really funny with the way that he's handled some of the questioning. There's a lot of questions about whether he had been a member of Red Action, and he went for the McCarthy response of "I am not, nor have I ever been a member of Red Action."
That's just the ignorant approach of the coppers assuming because he's Irish he must have been in Red Action. That's just ridiculous. And as Steve said, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, we saw a whole bunch of the reports that attempted to conflate Anti-Fascist Action, Red Action, the Independent Working Class Association as all one in the same group.
Yeah.
I mean, he said this was just typical of the way in which these undercover officers were looking to sponge off the taxpayer and continue their, living it up, getting paid to drink beer all day.
And also that fixation that they got to find these hidden cells of violent thugs. So when I was being questioned, it was all awaiting question after question after question. This has all been question after question about Red Action. It's all just an attempt to try and find a justification for their placements, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think the obsession that the inquiry has with asking questions about violence, I think Steve's dealt that really well, pointing out that what the role of stewarding is, that without stewards, then there was a danger of the left being driven off the streets. And if that happens, then the fascists win.
Absolutely. And Steve made the point of today as well, didn't he? I mean, not a single person's arrested as far as we're aware. All these times they were spying on us. If they're spying on us as these violent terrorist cells day in, day out for 10 years and not a single arrest, that just exposes how we weren't these violent terrorist cells to be spied upon.
Yeah, it is frustrating, like following some of the lines of questioning the inquiry, because it feels they miss out like quite a lot of the important stuff, and it's taken Steve really to like just not answer the questions and make certain points.
Yeah, and just like I say, throw back the context, isn't it? Context in which we were operating to defend the movement from being attacked. We have to keep raising that. We have to keep raising the context. The council's just focused on trying to directly expose things that the spies have said that we've done. So quite clearly, time and time again, we haven't.
Yeah. Well, it's this this way of like when the inquiry like says it's adding context. It says about a Red Action, and to give an example of who they were, here's what it says in the SDS annual report of 1995-96, and you're obviously getting this incredibly skewed version of what these groups are, and just using that as their source material.
Just to justify it, I mean, they're paid a good wage to. Their job is to do what we did in our spare time, and they're just being paid big money to do that. And also, the fellow whose job it was to sit an hour away from them in this office to come and rescue them, should we find out? So they're justifying two people's good wages just to do what we did in our spare time.
Yeah. I mean, what have you made of the way the inquiry's developed?
I think sadly it has just reinforced everything that I expected. I mean, the very fact it's been set up for 10 years, and they structured it in such a way, hoping that as many people would die as possible before they get to them, and structured in such a way where it's all been about trying to justify the actions of the spy cops. How many questions has Steve had? So in 3 hours, not a single question on blacklisting.
No.
So the issues that it was set up to expose are just being pushed to the sideline. It's all being done to justify their actions. Hopefully, we're going to spend 2 hours now on backlisting, but I just can't see it.
I mean, I can't see it either. I mean, I fully expect there to be more questions about what was the nature of stewarding, which he's been asked at least 4 times.
Yeah.
You know, there's always this like approach of the inquiry to try and catch out the witness that actually secretly they were violent after all.
And there was a big, that big long stalled bit, wasn't it? With hoping Steve would say something just to catch him out. And
Yeah.
Steve wasn't going to say it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We've just heard that I think they're going back
Right,
in now.
okay.
It's only a short break. Anything else you'd like to say before we go off?
Thank you for your time. You've been brilliant.
Oh, thank you, Dan. Thanks for joining us. We'll do another video at the end and do a catch up what we hear from them. Cheers for now.